Hey everyone, welcome to Create with Christina, and today I am kicking off my Craft Room Makeover series. So I'm pretty excited, but at the same time I'm a little ashamed to show you this, but it is real life, people. As you can see behind me, I am in desperate need of some organization in my craft area. Along the way, I'm going to share with you some tips and some crafts in order to create more storage room and organize any space. So we all know life can get really busy sometimes, but it's a lot easier to stay organized when you have a place for everything to begin with. So that's really where we're going to start. It's really just about going in, kind of figuring out what you need for your space. What kind of solutions do we need here? Essentially, this shelf is overcrowded. I do plan on having a new work desk set up, so I will take my old work desk and use that as well. Now, obviously, not everyone is going to have extra desks or tables that they can use. So essentially, the first idea is to just kind of take a look, start assessing what it is you have, and start thinking about what kind of storage you need. So I have, a lot of paint. That was kind of where I first started. Is there's a whole section here being taken up by paint, and so I started thinking, what could I do with the paint? How can I store the paint? So that's really kind of that first step is assess. So once I did that, I kind of started grouping some similar items. So again, I did group all my paint here together. I've got some of my glue items here at the bottom, some of my ribbons. I started kind of piling that up. So basically just group like items, things that you're going to group together or store together when you go to organize the space. So I've already started to do a little bit of that. And so essentially, that's going to lead us into the very first project of what we're going to do to create a storage shelf for my paint. I'm really excited to share this one with you guys. I got all the items from Dollar Tree, so it's really easy to do. And I think I was able to make it for honestly under $5. I think it's really useful, honestly, for any room, whether you're going to store your paints or you need somewhere to store your hair accessories. Maybe you're going to make a coffee bar, you need to store your Keurigs. Honestly, I'm about to show you how you're going to go from this to this. All right, so let's get started. We have our wood trays from Dollar Tree, and I'm just giving those a little sand, which is optional. There were just a couple rough edges I wanted to sand off first before we painted. We've got these little palette looking things. Those are so cool. And some shelf liner that had come from Dollar Tree way back when, some black chalk paint, wood glue, hot glue gun, ribbons, these little handy wood clips. I recommend having them when you're gluing shelving together like we're going to do. Just helps kind of keep everything bound together while you're finishing up, and while it dries, helps it stay together and sturdy. So first I'm just going in, I'm painting the wood palettes with the black chalk paint. This is a little tedious. This took me a while because there's a lot of little cracks and crevices, the little spaces in between the palette there. It's really hard, so I did have a smaller paintbrush as well that I used to kind of get in there. I think the painting definitely took the longest, and I did take a little break to let some things dry. So, I think if you were really going to go at it and not take any breaks and just work straight through, you could probably get this done in about an hour and a half, I would think. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect either, especially if it's not going to be in a place that people are seeing that often. I am just using it in my craft room, so I probably didn't need to be this meticulous, but kind of got in the zone. So I'll just paint the second palette here.
All right, let's move that along a little bit, just filling in all the little crevices again here on this one. The wood clip really came in handy too because I was able to clip it on one part of the palette and kind of use that as my non-painted area to hold on to. Alright, so we are painting the wood trays, same color, same black chalk paint. You could always go in and do a second coat, but I found that when I was tidying up the edges, I went back over some spaces anyway. It kind of worked out like a double coat, but the black chalk paint, just like the white, covers really well. I had thought about maybe going in with a little bit of the white chalk paint and giving it more of that farmhouse kind of whitewashed look, but I was really liking the way the solid black was turning out, and that is going to be the general theme for the colors I'm going to use with my craft area. So I did just end up keeping it the straight black, but you could of course always go in with any different color if you wanted. I'm using that smaller thin bristle brush to get in some of the corners on the tray there. You don't have to paint the inside of the tray because we are going to line that with the shelf liner, so that part doesn't have to be perfect. I would say just kind of get it along the edges on the inside just in case you are a little short on the shelf liner paper. You don't want any of the wood showing through. Alright, we're going to take the shelf liner, and I'm just using that wood tray to kind of trace out how much I'm going to need. Now the inside of the tray is actually probably a little smaller than that backside bottom part, so I had to recut a couple of times. Before gluing it down, I always recommend just kind of laying it in there, seeing if it fits, trimming off any of the corners. You might need to do this a couple of times. I certainly did. So again, I was just kind of having to go in and trim these up to make sure it fit in there. I didn't want a bunch of extra kind of overlapping on the sides. But again, doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to go in with the Mod Podge. And we're just going to use this little paintbrush to get it all in the corners, but you don't want too much. I mean, you obviously don't want a glob of it still present. You just want a little bit just to kind of cover the bottom and the corners, and then you can smooth it down with just kind of ball up some of the shelf liner and kind of use that as a smoother to kind of get any air pockets or air bubbles out. So the wood pallets are going to act as our structure for this. So I'm just going to line these trays with a cute buffalo check plaid print ribbon. Again, you guys know this is all the rage. I am obsessed with the buffalo check plaid print right now, just like I think everyone else is. So I thought this was a very, very cute addition. I'm just using hot glue to wrap the ribbon along the edge of the tray. I'm going to make a bow to put on the front. Alright, and then we're going to hot glue the bow on the front part of the tray. I'm gonna go in and repeat that same step, get that buffalo check plaid print ribbon around the tray. Now these wood palettes, they have kind of like a little lip on them, and that is right where I'm gonna glue it on to the top part of that tray. And I use those wood clips to kind of keep it tight while that hot glue really binds and dries. And then I'm going in with a little wood glue just to fill in some of the cracks and crevices, just to kind of give it that extra strength. The hot glue, sometimes, you know, you get the hot glue strings and they're everywhere, so I wasn't trying to overdo it with the hot glue, but obviously I still wanted this to be sturdy and strong, so I felt the wood glue would be a good addition to kind of fill in some of the little gaps and then just act as that little hardener to keep everything tight and together. All right, so we are pretty dry and we are feeling pretty sturdy. So there you have it. Super cute. This would go well anywhere.
All right, you guys, so what do you think? Are you as excited about this as I am? Because I'm pretty pumped. This is one of my favorite things that I've made so far, and I am excited to show you how I'm going to use it. So as you can see, I've already got some paints in there. I actually was going to designate this space down here for my glue, so that's where that's going to go. I just kind of stuffed the ribbon in there for staging effect. I kind of like that you can actually go at it from any way. You know, so if you have it sitting on a shelf this way, sitting this way, it's really accessible. There you have it. I hope you enjoy, and stay tuned for more, because I did some other really exciting crafts that are going to help us out. Coming up, we are going to have a glue gun holder, just kind of jazzing up some storage containers, and another special little drawer shelf that's going to help with some storage needs. So I hope you continue to join me on this journey. I'm really excited to see what the finished product is going to look like. Thanks so much. As always, you know what to do. Like seeing this content, let me know. Always drop me a line. I'm happy to hear it.